if to prepare for such election, I think it would have been maybe wiser to actually see how we could work without all this over-militarization, because we are not going to have those variables.
Is it taking away from the credibility of the elections, though?
Not really, given our own environment. But we are saying, if we want to move forward, if we are actually pressing ourselves now because our president, the electoral management body now, because you have military all over the place. When you don't have it again, you are back to where you are coming from. And then, so why don't you use this thing, to see how can we do this? And we have come to a stage that we have felt without the military, we can't sustain our democracy. I think this is very dangerous. And if we have to move forward, we must find a way to actually getting people to be the defense of their own democracy.
Mr. Chukwu, are there any immediate concerns that you would raise in these elections today?
First of all, let me start by agreeing with the general assessment that all the role players, INEC, civil society, security agencies, need to be commended so far for the level of improvement we saw in this Osun election. But there is something we really need to watch out for, which is what in criminology we call crime displacement. When you have a targeted enforcement on a particular crime, motivated criminal offenders will move to another area or adopt a different strategy. We saw in previous election ballot box snatching in 2011 and the elections before that. Now, we had an improvement in 2015 with the electronic gadgets, accreditation and all that, so you can't really snatch ballot boxes, must thumbprint them and bring them back. So what did people do? They moved to vote buying. And now we have a situation where the cameras people used to provide evidence that they voted for a particular political party is no longer there. So we should now where will the motivated criminal offenders move their crime to now? Because there is an overwhelming interest in Nigeria in winning an election. There's a political economy around winning an election. You are invading a whole treasury of a nation, a state or a local government. So we shouldn't think that those who were hell-bent on falsifying or determining outcome of election would, merely because we are introducing cameras in election cubicles, go to sleep. So the question for all of us who are involved in this process now is where will they move to? And that's where I want us to pay a little more attention. Perhaps
Liberos has an idea where they've moved to.
We've been fixated on the happenings around the polling unit. But if you look at the provisions of the law, Osaze read section 125 of the Electoral Act. If you also look at it from section 124 of the Electoral Act, it's broader, defines not just vote buying, also talks about bribery. If you permit me quickly, any person who does any of the following directly or indirectly by himself or by any person on his behalf, gives, lend, or agrees to give or lend, offer money or valuable consideration, directly or indirectly by himself or by any other person on his behalf, corruptly make any gift, loan, offer, promise, procurement, or agreement to do for any person in order to induce such person to procure or to endeavor to procure the return of any person as a member of the Legislative House or as an elective officer or the vote of any voter of any election. All of these are offenses. And then if you go further, a voter commits an offense of bribery where before or during an election, directly or indirectly himself or by any other person on his behalf receives, agree, or contract for any money, gift, loan, or valuable consideration, office, place, or employment for himself or for any other person for voting or agreeing to vote or for refraining or agreeing to refrain from voting or any such election. So all of these, if you look at it, it's very broad. The law actually envisaged that if you are able to curb that vote buying at the polling unit, they move to other areas. And so that's why the law makes provision for inducement, even promises for political offices, promise for employment. All of these are classified as bribery and vote buying. But what people do in civil society, you can't actually eradicate vote buying. It's not possible.
Did vote buying happen in Osun State?
In Osun State, from what we have heard from the feed, the vote buying that we discussed, that we talked about in Ekiti, that's the one that you purchase at the polling unit. No. But if you look at the provisions of the law from what I have read to you, and you know, you take your mind back to what has played out even before the election, you can.
What played out before the election?
There were a lot of things happening, including, let's not shy away from it, even the, what do you call it, traders money. Yeah. For me, that's can be defined as inducement.
No, because the government is carrying this across the country.
Let me tell you.
It has done it in Lagos, it has done it in other parts.
Why do you think, let me even give you an example.
Before the Osun elections.
Let me give you an example.
So can we categorically say that
elections were a week away? We need to, look, if we want to be serious, with our elections were a week away. There are things the government needs to put into perspective. Elections were a week away, and then even if Osun was the next, why not wait for election to be over in Osun, and then you can move to other states where elections are not. Just wait out for the election. That was the same. It was in that wisdom that the president advised the IG not to charge the PDP candidate in the election in Osun on certificate issue, because elections were just around the corner and people will read different meanings into it. And so if you juxtapose all of these actions, with the provisions of the law, I'm telling you, promise for something. And so when you make such promises and you give, all in all, we're loaning money to you. This is from government. And mind you, that government also, represents a particular party. And so if we really want to move forward, that's why, the election observers are saying, look, let's not use this to judge.
We're going to go into the why when we return after this break. Join us again.